In 1999, Hayabusa redefined speed itself. But Kawasaki wasn't about to let Suzuki rule unchallenged. They struck back with the ferocious ZX-14R, and what followed was a two-decade war of speed and power. This is the ultimate battle of two titans, Hayabusa versus ZX-14R. The year was 1999. The GSX-1300R Hayabusa came into the scene with an absolutely terrifying 312 km/h top speed, instantly snatching the title of world's fastest production motorcycle from everyone who thought they were safe. The Hayabusa's arrival was so shocking, so absolutely devastating to the competition, that it sent European regulators into a complete panic. The bike was so fast, so overwhelmingly powerful, that rumors of outright government bans started swirling across the continent. Manufacturers, terrified of heavy-handed government intervention that could destroy their entire high-performance segments, quickly scrambled to create an informal gentleman's agreement. No production bike would exceed 299 km/h, but the damage was already done. The engine war had officially begun. The Hayabusa didn't just set a new benchmark. It forced rival manufacturers' hands and resulted in an era defined not just by the motorcycle's capabilities, but by the stories, the regulations, and the fierce national engineering pride that would drive this conflict for decades to come. Kawasaki wasn't about to take this humiliation lying down. Their engineers were burning the midnight oil, their pride wounded by Suzuki's dominance. Their first response came with the ZX-12R, a machine that came supremely close to toppling the Hayabusa, but couldn't quite deliver the knockout punch. But in 2006, everything changed forever. The ZX-14 later evolved into the ZX-14R, arrived like a thunderbolt, and it didn't just compete with the Hayabusa. It frightened regulators all over again and set new benchmarks for torque, smoothness, and raw acceleration that would redefine what was possible. Now let's dive into technical details first, because in this battle, numbers are absolutely everything. The Suzuki Hayabusa is no joke. This beast packs a massive 1,240cc inline-4, liquid-cooled, dual-overhead cam engine that produces a devastating 187 horsepower at 9,700 RPM and 150 Nm of torque at 7,000 RPM. The power delivery is managed through a sophisticated 6-speed transmission equipped with a slipper clutch and bidirectional quick-shifter that makes gear changes seamless, whether you're accelerating or engine braking. The Hayabusa's chassis is built around a twin-spar aluminum frame that provides exceptional rigidity while keeping weight down. The suspension setup features fully adjustable KYB components at the front and a monoshock rear setup that can be tuned for everything from track days to cross-country touring. At 264 kilograms wet weight with a 20-liter fuel tank, this machine will rocket from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 2.8 seconds, hit 100 miles per hour in approximately 5.1 seconds, and devour the quarter mile in 10.1 seconds before hitting that electronic speed limiter at 186 miles per hour. But here's where the story gets absolutely fascinating. The ZX-14R doesn't just match these mind-bending specifications, it almost destroys them in almost every category that matters. With an absolutely massive 1,441cc inline-4, liquid-cooled, dual-overhead cam engine, this Kawasaki monster cranks out a terrifying 208 horsepower at 10,000 RPM and 158 Nm of torque at 7,500 RPM. The ZX-14R's power advantage isn't just on paper, it translates to real-world domination. 0 to 60 miles per hour happens in a neck-snapping 2.5 to 2.85 seconds. The quarter mile disappears in a blistering 9.99 seconds at 148 miles per hour. Kawasaki's technical approach is fundamentally different from Suzuki's philosophy. Built around a unique monocoque aluminum frame that provides exceptional rigidity and stability, the ZX-14R weighs in at 269 kilograms wet with a generous 22-liter fuel tank. The suspension utilizes Showa big piston forks at the front and a uni-track rear shock system. While it doesn't come with a quick shifter as standard equipment, the 6-speed transmission is optimized specifically for high-speed touring comfort and features a slipper clutch for smoother downshifts. But if the ZX-14R is so clearly more powerful on paper, producing more horsepower and torque while delivering faster acceleration times, why do Hayabusa fans still passionately claim their bike is superior? The answer lies in completely different engineering philosophies and what these machines were designed to accomplish. Kawasaki built the ZX-14R to overwhelm opponents with absolutely brutal, relentless force. It's heavier, more stable, and designed to be an unstoppable cruise missile that excels at high-speed touring and straight-line domination. The added weight that some critics point to actually becomes a massive advantage during triple-digit cruising, helping the bike remain planted and unflappable when speeds reach territory that would terrify most riders. The ZX-14R's true party trick is its relentless, buttery smooth torque delivery that starts building from 4,000 RPM, becomes absolutely overwhelming in the mid-range, and continues to shock riders all the way to redline. The monocoque aluminum chassis gives it unique rigidity that translates to exceptional stability under hard acceleration and high-speed cruising conditions. The Hayabusa takes a fundamentally different approach to the same problem. At 264 kilograms, it's strategically lighter and more agile than its Kawasaki rival. Suzuki's engineers focused on creating a perfectly balanced weapon that expertly blends stability, acceleration, and refinement into a package that leans more toward the sport side of the supersport equation. The latest Hayabusa features ultra-precise ride-by-wire throttle control, more comprehensive riding electronics including cornering ABS, launch control, and hill hold assist, and arguably sharper responsiveness at high speeds. The Hayabusa's chassis and ergonomics are tuned more aggressively for sport riding, and its handling characteristics are noticeably more agile thanks to slightly lower weight and geometry that's specifically tuned for twistier riding conditions. While both bikes employ high-end Brembo braking systems, the Hayabusa's more advanced electronics package, particularly the cornering ABS and launch control, gives many riders significantly more confidence when pushing these machines to their absolute limits. Now let's address the massive elephant in the room that has created decades of controversy and urban legend. Both bikes are electronically limited to 186 miles per hour, thanks to that old gentleman's agreement that manufacturers still respect today. But here's what the manufacturers absolutely don't want you to know, and what has fueled underground communities of performance enthusiasts for years. In unrestricted form, with aftermarket ECU modifications and tuning, the ZX-14R has been reliably clocked at up to 195 miles per hour, while modified Hayabusas regularly hit similar speeds and sometimes exceed 200 miles per hour. This brings us to a major question that has generated massive controversy and countless internet arguments. Are these legendary machines actually banned anywhere for being too fast? Or is this just brilliant marketing hype designed to make riders feel like they're purchasing something forbidden and dangerous? The truth behind the banned bike mythos is far more nuanced and fascinating than the simple legends suggest. Neither current model is actually banned outright for speed, with exceptions only in certain countries or regions that have strict import laws or displacement caps that affect large motorcycles in general. However, both machines are literally and directly responsible for the speed limiting agreement that exists today throughout the entire motorcycle industry. The original 1999 Hayabusa spooked European regulators so badly with its unprecedented performance that they began seriously threatening new laws that could have crippled the entire high-performance motorcycle segment. The industry's response was swift self-regulation to avoid devastating government intervention that could have banned or heavily restricted these machines entirely. This means both the ZX-14R and Hayabusa continue to live at the very edge of what is legal, possible, and socially acceptable in production motorcycles. They represent the absolute limit of what manufacturers can build while still maintaining the political and regulatory freedom to sell these machines to the public. However, the gray area of aftermarket modification has created an entire subculture that pushes these bikes far beyond their factory limitations. De-restricted versions are widely available through specialized tuning shops, ECU reflashing services, and performance modification experts. These underground machines regularly exceed 200 miles per hour and exist in a shadowy world where riders accept significant legal and safety risks in pursuit of ultimate performance. Now let's dive deep into real-world performance where the rubber meets the asphalt and theoretical specifications transform into actual riding experiences. The numbers we've discussed aren't just marketing materials. They translate into devastating real-world performance that has redefined what's possible on two wheels. The ZX-14R consistently records acceleration times that embarrass supercars costing 10 times as much. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.5 to 2.85 seconds, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in roughly 2.99 seconds, and quarter-mile times of 9.99 seconds at 148 miles per hour. These aren't just impressive statistics, these are achievements that push the boundaries of what's possible with current tire and traction technology. The Hayabusa responds with its own impressive arsenal: 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds, 0 to 100 miles per hour in approximately 5.1 seconds, and quarter-mile performance of 10.1 seconds. While the differences might seem small on paper, experienced riders know that in the world of ultimate performance, even tiny margins represent massive engineering achievements and significant real-world advantages. The ZX-14R's greater horsepower and torque, particularly in the crucial mid-range where most real-world acceleration occurs, gives it a consistent edge off the line and during roll-on acceleration scenarios. This advantage becomes increasingly pronounced at speeds beyond 150 miles per hour, where the Kawasaki's superior power-to-weight ratio and aerodynamic efficiency allow it to pull away from even the most skilled Hayabusa pilots riding de-restricted machines. Neither bike fits the traditional definition of a sports bike in the mold of a 600cc track weapon. Both are absolute monsters built specifically for open highway domination and straight-line performance that would be illegal on any public road. However, the subtle handling differences between these machines reveal their different design priorities and engineering philosophies. The Hayabusa's lighter weight and slightly more aggressive geometry give it a noticeable advantage through twisty sections when speeds remain high enough to keep the suspension loaded properly. Its KYB suspension components match up excellently against the ZX-14R's Showa big piston forks, providing precise feedback and excellent control during aggressive riding. The ZX-14R counters with exceptional straight-line stability that comes from its mass, frame rigidity, and longer wheelbase. These characteristics make it virtually unshakable during hard acceleration and provide exceptional confidence during high-speed cruising that approaches or exceeds legal speed limits by dangerous margins. So if the ZX-14R is measurably faster in almost every straight-line scenario, produces more power and torque, and consistently delivers superior acceleration times, why hasn't it completely destroyed the Hayabusa's legendary reputation and market dominance? Because this war transcends mere numbers and enters the realm of legend, heritage, cultural significance, and pure emotion that cannot be quantified on a dyno chart or measured with a stopwatch. The Hayabusa was first. It shocked the world, created the modern speed wars, established the template for what we now call hyperbikes, and carries the weight of motorcycling history on its aerodynamic bodywork. The ZX-14R may be the superior technical achievement by almost every measurable standard, but the Hayabusa remains the cultural icon that defined an era and inspired countless riders to push beyond safe, reasonable, and legal boundaries. But here's the shocking twist that changes everything and reveals the uncomfortable truth behind this entire rivalry. Neither bike will actually let a modern buyer experience the unrestricted performance that first made these machines famous and created their legendary reputations. Factory speed limiters, corporate liability concerns, insurance industry requirements, and regulatory compliance have systematically neutered both beasts. The true, unlimited performance these bikes are capable of achieving exists only in the shadowy underworld of modified machines, closed course events, and underground racing communities where riders accept significant legal and financial risks. Both motorcycles have spawned massive tuning communities and aftermarket support networks that rival anything in the automotive world. Insurance costs are astronomical for both machines due to their fearsome reputations and accident statistics. Maintenance requires specialized knowledge, expensive parts, and deep pockets that put these bikes beyond the reach of casual enthusiasts. They represent the absolute pinnacle of what's possible in production motorcycle engineering while remaining street legal and socially acceptable. In terms of financial investment, the ZX-14R generally undercuts the Hayabusa's showroom price, but the difference isn't substantial enough to influence most purchasing decisions in this exclusive market segment. Both machines serve as excellent grand touring weapons if treated with appropriate respect and understanding of their capabilities. The ZX-14R excels at high-speed stability, long-range comfort, and the kind of effortless, mile-eating performance that makes cross-country journeys feel like brief afternoon rides. Its larger 22-liter fuel tank and slightly better real-world fuel economy during cruising conditions make it the superior choice for riders who prioritize practical performance and touring comfort. The Hayabusa thrives in different scenarios, excelling at urban prowling, mountain road carving, drag strip domination, and the kind of aggressive sport riding that showcases its superior electronics package and more agile handling characteristics. Its reputation and cultural significance also make it the preferred choice for riders who value heritage and want to own a piece of motorcycling history. Both bikes have established dedicated communities of owners, tuners, and enthusiasts who share technical knowledge, modification techniques, and riding experiences through online forums and real-world gatherings. The aftermarket support for both machines is extensive, with specialized companies offering everything from minor performance enhancements to complete engine rebuilds that push power output far beyond factory specifications. However, the true cost of ownership extends far beyond the initial purchase price. Premium tires that can handle the performance these machines deliver, specialized maintenance requirements, and the constant temptation to modify and enhance performance create ongoing expenses that can quickly exceed the original investment. The insurance industry treats both bikes as high-risk propositions, resulting in premium costs that can approach or exceed the cost of insuring multiple conventional motorcycles. Many insurance companies simply refuse to cover these machines, while others impose strict restrictions on coverage and require extensive rider experience documentation. So after diving deep into the specifications, the history, the controversy, the technical achievements, and the cultural significance, it's up to you to decide the superior one among the two. Are you drawn to the ZX-14R's overwhelming technical superiority, its cruise missile comfort, and its systematic domination of every objective performance metric? Or does the Hayabusa's legendary status and cultural significance call to something deeper in your rider's heart? Drop your answer in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the world of motorcycles.